Okay, so let's focus on on your experience in the CIA, and then throughout your experience, we're going to talk about important stuff that happened that changed the Middle East and changed the world, frankly.
Sure.
But before we lead up to September 11th, which was one of the biggest pivots, as you were working in Greece before that. But before we get there, you speak هل تتكلم اللغة العربية؟
درست لغة الفصحى لمدة سنة في مدرسة حكومية في واشنطن، وبعد ذلك كان عندنا مدرسة في تونس, State Department Language Services.
Okay.
And so I learned اللهجة الخليجية.
اللهجة الخليجية. And you even stayed in Bahrain for a bit, for 3 years.
I spent 2 years in Bahrain, 2 of the happiest years of my life. I served in Kuwait and I served in Saudi Arabia. It's
we're going to dedicate a full episode about your service in Kuwait, and especially the invasion. And we've had so many episodes about what has happened in 1990, but we had it from a Kuwaiti perspective. It would be nice to talk to you about it, because you were the main guy, basically the CIA guy in 1990.
Very happy to.
So yeah, we'll do that on a later stage. But so you were in Athens, and you were, before going to Athens, you were an analyst.
Yes.
And then you switched to ops.
Yes.
So what's the difference between being an analyst in the CIA and being an operations guy?
Analysts are stationed in the CIA's Directorate of Intelligence, and operations people in the Directorate of Operations. And back then, never the two shall meet. So as an analyst, your job is to sit in a cubicle about this size and think the big thoughts. So you're reading CIA cables, State Department reporting cables, NSA telephone intercepts, cables from the Pentagon and from the Pentagon's people overseas, and foreign press. So you become an expert on the country that you're covering. That's all you're reading all day long, 5 or 6 days a week. And then you write papers that mostly nobody reads, or you respond to questions from the president. Most importantly, you write for something called the President's Daily Brief. This is a 16-page report that's written for the president 6 days a week on everything that has happened overnight. And it's briefed to the president, the vice president, the national security advisor, the secretaries and deputy secretaries of state and defense, the chairman and joint chairman of the chiefs of staff, and a handful of people at the White House and the National Security Council.
So it's like a newspaper, a foreign policy newspaper.
That's right.
That comes to the president and
That's right.
the main people.
And it's very, very highly classified. It's the most sensitive report